Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible and the screen is visible. पहले तो ये बता दो, then we can start it off. Good evening. Everyone can hear me and everyone can see the screen properly. Kindly let me know and then we can start it off quickly. Right. Good evening to everyone. Audible and visible. All right. AV meant audible and visible. Chalo, take it. That's nice. Good to know. Okay, so welcome everyone. We are going to start off with the weekly current affairs. So today we are going to take cognizance of all the current affairs that has happened since 29 September 2022 till date. So we will start with the very first one. Let's begin. All right, great. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so the center extends the Pradhanmantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Now, Pradhanmantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, as the name suggests, is basically to give food grains to people who are poor, in simple language. And this was also a part of the Pradhanmantri Garib Kalyan package. So we will take each and every topic in detail so that we know what all can be asked from this topic. So the very first thing is that the government had initially made this particular scheme for some time during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package was basically meant for the COVID-19 pandemic. But we realized that right now, the festivities have started coming in and the poor people, they would require food grains. That is the basic minimum requirement, which is why the government of India has extended the term of this particular scheme. So firstly, let's understand the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package was a scheme that was under the Ministry of Finance. And under the Ann Yojana, we were giving free food grains at 5 kg per person per month, right? And to all the beneficiaries of the National Food Security Act. So एक-एक करके सब कुछ पढ़ लेते हैं, then we will come back to the One Nation, One Ration card. Let's start off with the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package. So like I told you, this was basically made by the government of India to help the poor people to fight a battle against the COVID-19 pandemic. It was announced in March 2020. And what all did it include? The first thing is insurance cover of 50 lakh per health worker who was fighting on the front lines of COVID-19. If you would remember, we have already dealt with this in one of the current affairs topics. But if in case we don't remember it, that is okay. As the name suggests, this we were giving to the COVID-19 health workers कि अगर आप यहाँ पे काम कर रहे हो, आपको कोई भी अगर इशू आ रहा है health wise, तो आपको या आपके नॉमिनी को हम पैसा दे रहे हैं. The second one is 80 crore poor people will get 5 kg wheat or rice or 1 kg of their preferred pulses for free. The most important point over here is that these food grains were being given for free. This is what we have extended. Then 20 crore women with the Jan Dhan account holders to get 500 per month in their account. So that was also a part of it. मनरेगा महात्मा गांधी नेशनल रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी एक्ट, इसके अंदर वी हैड इंक्रीज द अमाउंट ऑफ डेली वेजेस. सो फ्रॉम 182 per day, people were getting 202 per day. And ex gratia, that means basically, out of a charitable heart, we were giving around 1,000 rupees to 3 crore poor citizens. And then 2,000 was paid upfront to farmers under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana. If you remember, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi program was basically where farmers initially, it was for small and marginal farmers who had small land holdings. In 2019, we had extended it to each and every farmer. What were we doing? We were giving them 6,000 rupees. and we are giving it to them in 3 equal installments every 4th month. So 2000 करके. And apart from that, there is a building and construction workers welfare fund, जिसके अंदर जो पैसा था उसमें हमने बोला कि ये पैसा हम यूटिलाइज करेंगे and we will give it to the construction workers. This was obviously because of the fact कि लॉकडाउन की वजह से बहुत सारे लोगों को नौकरी नहीं मिल रही थी, कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्कर्स को काम नहीं मिल रहा था. So जिस वजह से we made this Pradhanmantri Garib Kalyan package. Out of this, what we are doing right now is the Anna Yojana. We are talking about the 5 kg wheat or rice and 1 kg of preferred pulses. Now, who are these people and who gets all of this? So very first thing that we have to keep in mind is that there is something known as the public distribution system. So it was announced around the World War II, and later on, we changed the name and we made it into revamped public distribution system in 1992. We just extended the scope of area of operation of this particular scheme, जहां पे हम लोगों को राशन शॉप्स में सब्सिडाइज रेट्स पे बेसिक मिनिमम फूड दे रहे थे. So because of the revamped PDS system, we also extended it to far-flung areas, to hilly areas, remote areas where the underprivileged people lived. Now, who are these underprivileged people? We will just understand step by step. Then in 1997, the revamped PDS became the targeted public distribution system. Now, under this targeted public distribution system, we divided the beneficiaries into 2 parts, above poverty line and below poverty line, which right now is being referred to as priority households and non-priority households, and we'll understand what that is. But what we can keep in mind, however, in this particular case is BPL or APL in the targeted public distribution system or PDS system is on the basis of the poverty line established by a committee called the Lakdawala committee. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. Now, what is this targeted public distribution system? अब एक एक्ट बनी called the National Food Security Act. You have to understand that food security is super important. It is only when we give food can we talk about nutritious food. So आज हम पोषण अभियान की बात कर रहे हैं, but पहले के टाइम पे और कुछ एरियाज में अभी तक food security is an issue. So prior to the implementation of NFSA, which is National Food Security Act, we used to give 3 types of ration cards. To people who were below poverty line, above poverty line, and Antyodaya ration cards. Now, ever since we've made the act of National Food Security Act, what we've done, this is 2013, okay? So what we have done is we have reclassified this particular categories into non-priority households and priority households. अब ये priority किस basis पे? It is not just on the basis of a person's income. We also have to understand whether this household has some socio-economic issue. Now, what are these social economic issues? We'll just understand. Again, I'm saying step by step, right? So whoever comes under the ambit of priority household will be given a particular ration card. और उस इंसान को फिर क्या मिलेगा? उस household को क्या मिलेगा? So they are entitled to get 5 kg of food grains per person per month at very subsidized rates from the ration shops. At 3 rupees per kg for rice, 2 rupees per kg for wheat, 1 rupee per kg for coarse grains. And for how long, this will be decided by the central government. Now, what is the inclusion criteria? How do I become a priority household, and how am I different from an Antyodaya family? So if I have to be a priority household, my household will have no shelter, और मेरे हाउसहोल्ड में कोई बहुत 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 ही गरीब सारे के सारे लोग रह रहे हैं who are living on alms, on basically they are getting money from other people, they are not able to make it themselves. All people who are from the primitive tribal groups. We will, during the course of this lecture, we will also understand that primitive ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स क्या होते हैं, और आज की डेट पे हम उनको पर्टिकुलरली वल्नरेबल ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स बोलते हैं. नाम से पता चल रहा है, दीज आर ट्राइब्स व्हिच आर नॉट डूइंग एज वेल एज द अदर्स as the other scheduled tribes, households that have a widow pension holder. But these shouldn't be households that are doing very well. Okay, it has to be like a household without shelter or XYZ, whatever we've just spoken about. A person with disability of 40% or more, any transgender, so that we can keep in mind that transgenders, if they are there in a particular household and that household has very less amenities or none of the amenities, that particular person will also be under the targeted public distribution system, wherein they will get the 5 kg food grains at subsidized prices. Now then, who are Antyodaya families? See, जो अभी हमने किया कि प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना, उसमें हमने बोला हम एक्स्ट्रा आपको फूड ग्रेन्स दे रहे हैं ओवर एंड अबव व्हाट यू आर गेटिंग इन योर नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट एंड एज एन अंत्योदय फैमिली, as possibly a priority household. We've just seen कि ठीक है आपको पैसा देना है, बहुत ही कम पैसा देना है, लेकिन under the प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण गरीब अन्न योजना, you're getting that food grain for free over and above whatever you're getting in the other schemes. Now, how am I a Antyodaya family? Such people who have no stable income at all and they're very poor. So, for example, rickshaw pullers, coolies, daily laborers, all of them will qualify under the category of Antyodaya families. So the government has categorized the Antyodaya families into landless agricultural laborers, marginal farmers, जिनको बहुत ही कम पैसा मिल रहा है, बहुत ही कम land holdings हैं, rural artisans, potters, tanners, weavers, मतलब मेरी stable income नहीं है, and ऊपर से I come from a poor household. That is how I become an Antyodaya family. A household which is headed by a widow or terminally ill person or a disabled person or a person who is above 60 years of age with no assured subsistence, no pension is coming to him or her, right? Widows or terminally ill or disabled people, primitive tribal households. So ये सारे के सारे मतलब इनमें और पहले वालों में क्या अंतर है? The fact that they don't have any stable income at all. Now, what is the benefit of an Antyodaya? What is the benefit of an Antyodaya Ann Yojana? Now, Antyodaya Ann Yojana में पहले हमने क्या बोला था कि हमें कितना मिल रहा है? We are getting around 5 kgs, right? एक बच्चे ने सूर्यांश, like I just said, it's 2013 बेटा, वो ऊपर वाले में गलत लिखा हुआ है, नीचे वाले में सही लिखा हुआ है, यहाँ पे 2013 हो जाना चाहिए, है ना? Okay, so we're getting 35 kgs as an Antyodaya family of food grains, and wheat and rice is being issued at a scale of 15 kg, 20 kg per family per month at a rate of ₹2 and ₹3 per kg respectively. अब इन सारे के सारे लोगों को, ठीक है, तो थोड़ा सा नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट के बारे में एक लास्ट चीज, एंड देन वी विल गो बैक टू द अन्न योजना. सो नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट, like I said, ये ऊपर मत देखना, 2013 रखना दिमाग में. So food and nutritional security is being given to people, and 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population, इन सबको ये subsidized food grains मिल रहे हैं under the TPDS scheme. And priority households की बात हमने कर ली, अंत्योदय households की बात भी हमने कर ली, 35 kgs की बात हो गई, 5 kgs की भी बात हो गई. Apart from that, under this particular scheme, we are also giving maternal benefit to women and lactating mothers during pregnancy and 6 months after their childbirth, wherein they are getting 6,000 rupees in their account, meals for children below 14 years of age, and food security allowances to beneficiaries. अगर नहीं मिल रहा हमें अनाज राशन शॉप में, तो उस हिसाब से पैसा आपको मिलेगा ताकि आप उतना अनाज कहीं और से ले सकें. And grievous redressal systems will be made. Now let's get back to what we were dealing with, the Pradhanmantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. अब ये चीज किसके अंदर आ गई? प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण पैकेज. कब बना? कोविड-19 के टाइम पे. सब कुछ तो मिल ही रहा है, उसके ओवर एंड अबव वी विल गिव यू free food grains. This particular component has been extended till December 2022. Now, another thing over here that we have to keep in mind, and then we will quickly go on to the next topic, is that the benefit of the free ration will also be available to migrant workers and beneficiaries under the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme. Now, we do understand that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the biggest problem or the biggest inhumane thing that I saw and you saw, all of us saw it, is how the migrant workers had to literally walk from one state to another to get back to their own house. It's not as if the government of India did not ply buses and trains, but that happened later on. Maybe you would have read about it in the newspapers कि इतने किलोमीटर चल के गए वापस या साइकिल चला के चले गए migrant workers घर वापस, क्योंकि initially तो हम सबको लग रहा था कि lockdown 3 months का है, then it gets extended, then it gets even more extended. And so these people, these migrant workers are basically leaving their family behind. Sometimes they're taking their families along also, and they go from one state to another to get money, right? And so these people, they had to face a lot of atrocities. And so hence we realized, let's make One Nation, One Ration Card. Now, why are these two related? So let's say I have a ration card. I'm not talking about the One Nation, One Ration Card. Ration card में मेरा state determined है कि मैं कहाँ पे रहती हूँ, क्योंकि उसी हिसाब से उसके ration shop में मेरे लिए अनाज रखा जाएगा. True or false? Like they should know, okay, 3 people are staying here, so this much, food grains should be in this particular state depot ration shop, and this much should be in another shop. Yes or no? And some even died on the way. So just to allocate that, ration कार्ड नंबर्स हमारे पास होते थे. अब क्या होता था कि अगर मेरी फैमिली पंजाब में है एंड आई हैव गॉन टू महाराष्ट्र टू वर्क, आई एम अ माइग्रेंट वर्कर. सी, माइग्रेंट वर्कर कुड आल्सो बी अ लॉयर हु इज इन पंजाब हु गोज टू महाराष्ट्र, बट वी विल बी माइग्रेंट एम्प्लॉइज, राइट? वी विल नॉट बी अंडर द अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर पीपल. अब क्या है कि राशन नंबर पे तो पंजाब का लिखा हुआ है, तो मेरी फैमिली को अनाज मिल रहा है, लेकिन मेरे को इसका बेनिफिट नहीं मिल पा रहा है बिकॉज I'm in Maharashtra. Now that we have One Nation, One Ration Card, I can utilize it anywhere. So that is a good thing for me. So the benefit of this free ration will be provided under One Nation, One Ration Card. So this is something that we can keep in mind. A little something related to this. Now this is with respect to April 2022. But I thought might as well just put it here, okay? Now One Nation, One Ration Card के अंदर 2022 में हमारी सरकार ने एक और मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन बनाया है कॉल्ड मेरा राशन, जिसके अंदर आई विल गेट रियल टाइम इंफॉर्मेशन टू द बेनिफिशरीज कि what are the new schemes, where can I go and procure my food grains from, has the center extended this particular scheme, can I get this free ration or not. All of this will be available on my mobile application, which is available in 13 languages. So that is also something that you can keep in mind. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Here, what all had we done? Let's just keep it in mind. एक तो प्रधानमंत्री गरीब अन्न योजना की बात हमने की है, जो प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण पैकेज का पार्ट है. पैकेज कब बना था? वो बना था कोविड-19 के टाइम पे. ये अन्न वाला फैक्टर जो है, इसमें हम लोगों ने क्या कर दिया? We are going to extend it. What are we giving? We are giving free food grains to certain families who are beneficiaries under the priority households and under the Antyodaya families. And priority households and Antyodaya families, now we've understood, comes under the National Food Security Act, which is 2013, right? And what all we get in that: 5 kgs under the TPDS and 35 kgs under the Antyodaya scheme. So all of that we can keep in mind. That is clear. Now we can go ahead. So the next thing is Avgas 100 LL. ये क्या है? पहली बात तो this is an indigenously developed, good evening. This is an indigenously developed special aviation fuel. Okay, and we have developed it. Who has developed this? Indian Oil Corporation. Okay, and how is it good? It is an aviation fuel. What is it going to help us with? It is going to help us with unmanned aerial vehicles or piston engine aircrafts. And iska jo what do you say, the okay, so we'll go step by step. It has a very higher octane. Okay, higher octane का मतलब क्या हो जाता है? That this fuel can handle a lot of compression before exploding, before detonating. So that is a good thing for us. We've made it ourselves. That is even better for us, right? It will help reduce our dependence on imports and make our logistics department much better. This also comes under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So that is something we can keep in mind. So the Avgas 100 LL, it is produced by Indian Oil's flagship refinery. ये भी पूछा जा सकता है ये refinery कहाँ पे है, तो वडोदरा में है. And it has been certified by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, which is an attached office of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Now, before I go ahead, now this is simple. Before I go ahead, bache, because we have to do a lot and we have to do a lot in less time. I do expect all of you to do certain homeworks on your own. So, जैसे Ministry of Civil Aviation मैंने लिख दिया, I've not written who's the cabinet minister. So I expect you guys to go figure that out and write it on your own. Will you be able to do that? Can I rest assured that yes, ये वाला काम बच्चे कर लेंगे, ये वाला काम मैं कर दूंगी, साथ ही साथ हम लोग करते रहेंगे, right? ठीक है, if you can give me like a yes, then we can go ahead and I can be okay with this and we can do more. Yes, great, thank you, because this is rather simple, right? And you all also have the list of cabinet ministers and list of many other things on your platforms now, and so you can look at that and you can do it. Great, thank you. अब आ गया न्यू चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ. सबको पता है, सबने पढ़ लिया है इस चीज के बारे में. तो ईस्टर्न कमांड, फॉर्मर ईस्टर्न कमांड आर्मी कमांडर लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल अनिल चौहान is the next chief of defense staff. And now the chief of defense staff will also function as a secretary to the Department of Military Affairs under the government of India. So that is something that we can keep in mind. And we do understand what is the chief of defense staff. He will basically allow more synergy between the three service branches of the Indian military, and inter-service friction को बिल्कुल minimum पे रखने का काम है इनका. He is also a military advisor, a single point military advisor, right? And also vested with the authority to provide directions to the three chiefs, first amongst equal बोल सकते हैं, जैसे Chief Justice of India को बोलते हैं amongst the judges, वैसे इनको भी first amongst the equals. Also, he can perform the advisory role in the nuclear command authority. What you can keep in mind is General Bipin Rawat. Where did he pass away? So it was in the Nilgiri areas of Tamil Nadu. Baki Chief of Army, Chief of Navy, Chief of Air Staff is something that you have to keep in mind. This is rather simple, very simple. We can go ahead now. So the new Chief of Defense Staff. Let's go ahead. Encyclopedia of Tribes in Odisha. Now, Odisha has become the very first state of our country to start an encyclopedia on tribal communities to document their age-old and unique traditions. हम शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब्स को हिंदी में क्या बोल देते हैं? आदिवासी. आदिवासी का मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? Right. So Abhideep, this is something that you can go and talk to the office about, है ना? And then whatever they say, we will do it accordingly. ठीक है? Is that okay, Abhideep? Whatever is, yes. So now scheduled tribes को हम क्या बोलते हैं? आदिवासी. आदिवासी को हम, if you see the English translation, they're basically the original inhabitants. Original inhabitants of an area are the scheduled tribes, right? But however, very rightly said, आजकल हम लोगों को हमारे दिमाग में जब हम आदिवासी सोचते हैं तो हमें अजीबो गरीब लोग ऐसे लगते हैं. वो हमारी misinformation है, right? And वो misinformation हमारी इस वजह से भी है क्योंकि ना हमें कभी किसी ने पढ़ाया, ना सिखाया, ना हमने जानने की कोशिश की, right? But otherwise, scheduled tribes are supposed to be the original inhabitants of an area. Back in the day, जब राजा महाराजा वगैरह होते थे, they used to help. They used to take the help of these original inhabitants to know कि भाई wild animal कहाँ से आ रहा है, कौन सा वाला जो tree है वो medicinal है, or they used to have absolute knowledge of their area. But now if we keep this in mind, right, okay, those who have not been developed properly, correct, so they are socially and economically backward as of now. Okay, so what has Odisha done? It has made an encyclopedia of these Odisha tribes, and 13 particularly vulnerable tribal groups are also part of it. अभी हमने primitive tribal groups की बात की थी और मैंने PVTG की बात की थी, तो हम लोग इसके बारे में अभी थोड़ी देर में देख लेते हैं. Why is it important to know about their culture and to save their culture? A, because the constitution says so, because the constitution is made for we the people of India. So we the people of India also includes we the tribal groups of India. So yes, we should know about it. Bharat Darshan scheme में भी tribal circuit बनाया. क्यों? Because we should know about it. It is only when we start interacting with one another that there will be unity and integrity in the country, correct? So yes, so एक तो Odisha is kept, we can keep that in mind. अब इस पूरी की पूरी चीज में particularly vulnerable tribal group नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. So what is that? अब नाम से ही पता चल रहा है वो tribal groups में भी बहुत ही vulnerable tribal groups हैं. What we can, however, keep in mind is who has created this separate category. So in 1973, it was the Debhar Commission that created the primitive tribal groups. And in 2006, the government changed the name to particularly vulnerable tribal groups. What are their basic characteristics? So basic characteristics like, they are mostly homogeneous, ek tarike ke hote hain, small population, their absence of a written language, very relatively simple technology. In fact, some of them are still in the hunting age, pre-agriculture wala age mein, they are utilizing that to make money and to live for their livelihood. So these are your particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups हैं. ये 75 तो तुम कभी life में नहीं भूलोगे, ये वाला digit है ना. इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा highest number of PVTGs are in Odisha, which is why Odisha has made this encyclopedia. Clear, everyone? This is as simple as that. Now, the next thing that we have to do is your Global Innovation Index of 2022. अब India ने अच्छा किया है तो दिमाग में रख ही सकते हैं, है ना? So India has rose to the 40th position among 132 other countries in the Global Innovation Index of 2022. Now, who releases this particular index? It is the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. WIPO के बारे में 2 मिनट में देख लेते हैं. पहले हम लोग ये इंडेक्स के बारे में देख लें. So now, what are the reasons given? Obviously, we are doing a lot to advocate the startup culture in our country. Which is the National Startup Day, beta? Which is the National Startup Day? Yes, सेम कंटेंट जोगिंदर आपको हर एक साइट पे मिलेगा, क्योंकि ये सेम कंटेंट ही तो फैक्चुअल है ना. तो ये PIB में भी मिलेगा, ये आपको विजन में भी मिलेगा, ये आपको हर एक जगह पे मिलेगा, क्योंकि अब PVTG को कुछ और नहीं चेंज करके लिख सकते ना. ठीक है. So 16th January. Okay, so India has rose to the 40th position among 132 countries, and this has been made by the World Intellectual Property Organization. So startups को हम लोगों ने promote किया है, venture capitalists को हमने promote किया है. What are venture capitalists? नाम से पता चल रहा है मुझे एक नया venture शुरू करना है, इसीलिए मुझे ये पैसा चाहिए, तो hence ये venture capitalist बन गया, जो भी organization मुझे ये पैसा दे रही है. अब फर्स्ट कौन आता है ग्लोबल इनोवेशन इंडेक्स में? स्विट्जरलैंड, उसके बाद US, स्वीडन, UK, नीदरलैंड्स. Turkey and India have entered the top 40 for the very first time. So that is something that we can keep in mind. Also, the theme for 2022 is what is the future of innovation-driven growth. Now, what is this WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization? It is a self-funding agency of the UN, and the headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, and it was made in 1967. Who is the Director General? Darren Tang. These are static bits. You have to learn it up. Okay. बाकी 21st April को हम World Creativity and Innovation Day भी बोलते हैं. Theme क्या है? Collaboration. बाकी 26th April की अगर बात करें तो World Intellectual Property Day, and theme is IP and Youth Innovating for a Better Future. So what do we have to learn? What is India's rank 40th? How many countries are we dealing with? 132. Who is first? Switzerland. And what was the theme? What is the future of innovation-driven growth? Let's go ahead. Now, single women get equal abortion rights. ये तो हम सब ने पढ़ा ही है इसके बारे में. Yes or no? बताओ. ये तो हमने पढ़ा ही है. ये तो काफी ज्यादा हम लोगों ने न्यूज में भी देखा है that the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, when it spoke about 20 to 24 weeks, now there was a lady who went up to the court and she says that she was pregnant and her partner left her and पहले उसको शादी करनी थी, बाद में they were not getting married. Now she says I should also have the right to get my abortion done, and which is exactly what our Supreme Court said. And the best but the coincidental part was that the day this judgment came was 28th of September, and 28th of September is also the International Safe Abortion Day, right? So coincidentally on that particular day, the Supreme Court said that we are going to allow unmarried and single women whose pregnancies are between 20 to 24 weeks to access safe and legal abortion. Baki Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law, is also applicable to both married as well as unmarried women, and so is Article 14. Okay, so we can keep that in mind. Also, the theme of International Safe Abortion Day is abortion in uncertain times. Correct, Supriya? Right. Okay. Then we come on to our compressed natural gas terminal. So world's first compressed natural gas terminal has been, the foundation stone has been laid down in Bhavnagar in Gujarat. So we do understand that CNG is a green fuel, it's a safer fuel for us. And we've made a CNG terminal, which will be very, very nice. Now, why have we done this in Bhavnagar? Because the Bhavnagar port is very, very close to this region called the Dholera Special Investment Region. ये धुलेरा स्पेशल इन्वेस्टमेंट रीजन में बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज आएंगी. इंडस्ट्रीज को अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल्स यूज करने हैं, रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेज ऑफ एनर्जी यूज करने हैं, तो ये सीएनजी टर्मिनल अगर यहाँ पे होगा तो इट विल बी वेरी गुड फॉर दोज इंडस्ट्रीज. दे विल बी एबल टू यूज इट. Also, the fact is that this Bhavnagar port is very well connected to the hinterland. मतलब वहां से चीज hinterland मतलब जो पोर्ट को मेन एरिया के साथ जोड़ती है, तो वो बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से अगर बना हुआ है तो लॉजिस्टिकली इट विल बी मच बेटर. विल बी एबल टू get the CNG for our industries. They will be able to use it in a much better manner. What we can keep in mind over here is who has built this terminal. So it will be built by the private consortium of Mumbai-based Padmanabhan Mafatlal Group and UK's Foresight Group. Okay, so we will keep that in mind. And this is a very large terminal. It can handle up to 1.5 million metric tons each year, and it is supported by the Gujarat Maritime Board. And Gujarat Maritime Board is the one who is also taking care of the Bhavnagar port. So, and we are using the public-private partnership model for this. This is very simple, public-private partnership, because for infrastructural projects, even for national infrastructural pipeline project, are we including the private sector or not? लिखो, ये तो आपका पिछले साल का क्वेश्चन भी था. Are we using the private sector even for the national infrastructure pipeline project or not? Yes. Okay. Great, बच्चे. ठीक है. फिर इसके बाद this terminal will start operating in 2026. तब तक आप आराम से अपने लॉ स्कूल्स में बैठ लेना, फिर उधर जाके देख लेना कि जब वो बनेगा. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट आ गया आपका नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी. Now, National Disaster Management Authority is recently, on September 28th, it has just celebrated its 18th Formation Day. And the theme for this year's Foundation Day was volunteerism in disaster management. अब नाम से हमें ये वाली चीज पता चल रही है कि इसमें काम क्या हो रहा है कि डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट एक्ट 2005 तो हमारे पास है ही है. अब अंडर द डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट एक्ट 2005 we had to ensure that we make an authority that is going to help us with disaster management in our country, and so the authority was the National Disaster Management Authority. The Prime Minister is the chairperson and it has 9 other members. One of the 9 other members are designated as the vice chairperson. तो काफी देर तक ये वाइस चेयरपर्सन की पोस्ट वेकेंट है, मतलब बहुत साल से. सो योर होमवर्क इज टू गो एंड फिगर आउट कि आज की डेट पे भी ये सीट वेकेंट है कि इज देयर अ वाइस चेयरपर्सन ऑफ एनडीएमए. सो दैट इज वन दैट यू हैव टू डू. The next thing is, it is the prime responsibility for management of disaster. Whom does it lie with? Obviously the state government. लेकिन क्या है कि National Disaster Management Authority gives like an enabling environment, help करता है state disaster management authorities की, ताकि they are able to take care of, manage the disasters that happen in different areas. Because why is it under the state government? Because you also understand, different states have different type of disasters. So obviously that makes sense there. But cooperative federalism is also important. पैसा भी देना पड़ेगा, research and development, लोग भी चाहिए होंगे. Hence the center is also involved in it. So all we have to keep in mind is the 18th formation day. And so the next is Operation Garud. Operation Garud is basically an operation which is being conducted by the Central Bureau of Investigation, जहाँ पे उन्होंने बहुत सारे narcotic drugs लिए हैं, है ना, seize किए हैं और उनको खत्म करने की कोशिश की है. And what have we called it? We've called it Operation Garud. Now, this particular operation, global operation, was closely coordinated with the Interpol and the Narcotic Control Bureau. Okay, firstly, why is India so vulnerable? Okay, we have a lot of youth in our country. If our youth is under drugs, that means it is not able to perform to its highest, most potential. If that happens, that is very good for the other countries, yes or no? I mean, अगर हम सारे के सारे अपने मैक्सिमम पोटेंशियल पे काम करने लग गए तो इंडिया को हम काफी आगे ले जाएंगे. सो जिस वजह से पीपल ऑल अराउंड अस बेसिकली वांट दैट हमारी जो यूथ है वो इतनी अच्छी तरह से काम ना कर पाए. एंड सो हेंस कहीं ना कहीं ये बाहर से नार्कोटिक ड्रग्स आते हैं और हम उल्लुओं की तरह इसको यूज करने लग जाते हैं. डू यू अग्री और डिसएग्री? बताओ. Yes. Do you agree or disagree? Unfortunately, we agree. अच्छा, गरुड़ नाम से बहुत कुछ है इस साल. That's true. गरुड़ शक्ति भी हो गया है ना. So we'll keep that in mind. Now, as Supriya also said, that India is on the west side, we have the Golden Crescent, which comprises of Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan. And on the eastern side, we have the Golden Triangle, comprises of Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, from where the majority amount of drugs is coming in. And according to the World Drug Report of 2022, India has the highest amount of drug users in the world. Okay, so that is not something to be very proud of. Have you realized of late Interpol करके काफी ज़्यादा आ रहा है न्यूज़ में? That is because the 90th Interpol General Assembly meet is going to happen in New Delhi in October 2022. So we'll understand a little bit about it. So Interpol is the International Criminal Police Organization, which is basically a confluence of a lot of member countries, 194 member countries, established in 1923. जो भी मेंबर कंट्री है फिर वो जाके डेजिग्नेट करती है अपने खुद के देश में एक नेशनल सेंट्रल ब्यूरो. जैसे कि हमारे देश में जो नेशनल सेंट्रल ब्यूरो विच इज वर्किंग इन टैंडम विद द इंटरपोल, इट इज द सेंट्रल ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन. बाकी इंटरपोल का जो हेडक्वार्टर है दैट इज इन फ्रांस, लियोन, एंड द प्रेसिडेंट इज अहमद नसीर अल राइसी. The 89th Interpol General Assembly meeting was held in Istanbul, and the 90th is going to be held in this month in New Delhi. So we'll keep that in mind. The next thing is Central Bureau of Investigation. बहुत ही घिसा पिटा टॉपिक है, मुझे पता है तुमने बहुत बार कर लिया है, but still, for the ones who are doing it for the first time or maybe just for a revision sake, it is not a statutory body. It derives its authority from the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946 under the Department of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension, and recommended by the Santhanam Committee. Okay, head Subodh Kumar Jaiswal and headquarter is in New Delhi. The next thing is, okay, so this is very interesting. A student had come up to me in Lucknow. Two students, in fact, had come up to me and they asked me this very simple question. They said, "Ma'am, Lokpal or Vigilance Commission mein kya difference hai?" So I said, you know, Group A, Group B, Lokpal dekh leta hai, Group C, Group D, aajkal Vigilance dekh leta hai. Because at the end of the day, they were like, you know, they do the same work. Why do you have so many different organizations? And which is exactly why Punjab has now dissolved the state Vigilance Commission. So basically the Punjab government says कि हमारे पास लोकायुक्त तो है ही, जब लोकायुक्त है जो कि एंटी करप्शन ओम्बड्समैन है, तो आपको स्टेट विजिलेंस कमीशन रखने की क्या जरूरत है? तो उसको खत्म करो, आप फालतू में लोगों को रख रहे हो, उनको फालतू की सैलरी मिल रही है, जब काम दूसरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कर ही रही है, पूरा काम ही कर ले, इसको हटा दो. So this is exactly what has happened here. Okay, now the Punjab State Vigilance Commission was made by virtue of the 2020 Act. And बाकी अगर हम बात करें तो ये किस चीज के लिए होती है, तो all public servants, you know, who have done some offense under the Prevention of Corruption Act, उसके खिलाफ ये Vigilance Commissions काम करती है. The Central Vigilance Commission was set up in 1964 on the recommendation of Santhanam Committee. अभी Santhanam Committee यहाँ पे भी हमने देखी थी, which is to do with CBI. अब फिर से हमने Santhanam Committee देखी, then this is to do with vigilance. So both are, you know, the same committee. Important thing is that the Vigilance Commissions, they don't come under any ministry. They are directly responsible to the Parliament. When I talk about the Central Vigilance Commission, state wali state assembly के साथ हो जाएगी. बाकी Central Vigilance Commissioner जो है chairperson Suresh N. Patel, and not more than 2 Vigilance Commissioners who are Praveen Kumar Srivastav and Arvind Kumar. The next thing is, what does CVC do? So CVC is not an investigation agency, it is an inquiry committee, है ना? Investigation तो CBI करेगा, ये inquiry करेंगे, ठीक है? And इसके अलावा appointment कौन करेगा CVC में? तो president करेगा on the recommendation of a 3-member committee, जिसमें Prime Minister आ गया, Minister of Home Affairs and Leader of Opposition of Lok Sabha. What is the term of Vigilance Commissioner? 4 years or till they attain the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. How are they removed? They are removed by the president on grounds of misbehavior. Lekin Supreme Court has to hold an inquiry pertaining to that. Only then will we remove them. And they can also resign to the president. अगर ये सब कुछ ही कर लिया है तो लोकायुक्त of Punjab is Justice Vinod Kumar Sharma. We are all aware of. तो उनकी नौकरी गई, हाँ उनकी नौकरी गई, वो कोई और नौकरी करेंगे क्योंकि 3-4 डिपार्टमेंट तुमने बनाए हुए हैं, काम तुम्हारा सेम है, करप्शन रोकनी है, एक से ही करवा लो, ज्यादा उसका बजट बना लो ताकि वो ज्यादा अच्छा काम कर ले. अब too many cooks spoil the broth is also there, you know, so why? So just like end that and stick to one and let them do their work properly because they are made for that. Is that okay? ठीक है. अब इसके बाद आ गया कार्ड टोकनाइजेशन. नाउ कार्ड टोकनाइजेशन के बारे में एक सेकेंड यहाँ से पढ़ते हैं, then we'll go to the previous slide. Now, basically what happens is whenever I'm, you know, ordering online or I'm ordering for food online or for clothes or whatever, it so happens that that particular website, it saves the detail of my card number and CVV नहीं करता है store, लेकिन बाकी सारी की सारी चीजें store कर लेता है ना, expiry number and card number and everything else. But this also increases the risk of card information being stolen or being abused, है ना? वो जमतारा टाइप की सिचुएशन अगर आ जाए तो फिर बहुत ही खराब काम हो जाएगा. Unless फिर अकाउंट में कुछ हो ही नहीं, फिर तो क्या ही जमतारा करेगा कोई. पर फिर भी, you know, there is a huge problem that may happen. So RBI is like, you know, what do we do about this? So they said, let's tokenize these card numbers. कि अब ना कार्ड नंबर नहीं होगा, जो नंबर आपके कार्ड पे है वो नहीं लिखेंगे, हम कोई ऐसे यू नो XYZ ABC PRI ऐसे करके कोई ऐसे टोकन सा एक बना देंगे which will be unique to a particular person and you will be able to use that token to make any kind of digital payments, right? But however, this is also important to know that tokenization is not mandatory for a customer. अगर कल जाके मेरे को लग रहा है कि नहीं यार मेरे को ये टोकन वोकन नहीं बनाना है, I'm okay with the way things are functioning. I don't mind writing my card number. I don't mind writing my expiry number and my CVV number on any online website. So go ahead with it. We are just giving you an option. Okay? But the mandatory thing over here is Zomato can't take that information. अब जोमेटो को बोल दिया कि 1 अक्टूबर के बाद आपको डिलीट करनी पड़ेगी ये सारी कार्ड वाली इंफॉर्मेशन सारे मर्चेंट्स को. हाँ, फिर उसके बाद आपका कस्टमर खुद डाल रहा है वो अलग बात है, आपका कस्टमर टोकनाइज्ड वर्जन डाल रहा है वो अलग बात है. आप उसको मैंडेटरीली उसका इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज अगर आप स्टोर कर रहे हैं देन दैट इज अ पनिशेबल ऑफेंस. So tokenization is a way in which the card details are replaced by unique codes or unique tokens. And what we have to keep in mind is for a customer, it is not mandatory, but for the merchant, it is mandatory to delete that particular information. कौन रख सकते हैं ये information? Obviously, जो card givers हैं, जो card providers हैं, card issuers हैं, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, card networks हैं, Visa, Mastercard, इन सब के पास तो हो सकता है, बिकॉज दे ऑब्वियसली देयर इज अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अपॉन देम, बट दैट इज देयर जॉब, राइट? इफ दे आर गोइंग टू डू समथिंग रॉन्ग ऑब्वियसली वी विल टेक देम टू टास्क. पर वो तो रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी के अंदर आ ही रहे हैं, वो रैंडम ऑनलाइन वेबसाइट्स नहीं आ पा रही हैं, which is why we've told them that you can't keep these card details, right? Okay. Then the next thing is AFSPA. So AFSPA is also again घिसा-पिटा concept, सबको पता है, everybody knows it, right? Armed Forces Special Powers Act, जिसके अंदर आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स, इन तीनों को हमने क्या अथॉरिटी दे रखी है? You can kill without a warrant, but you have to give like a warning पहले. You can search properties without a warrant. You can destroy properties without a warrant. People cannot go against you in the court of law. हाँ, ये जरूर है कि कोर्ट मार्शल हो सकता है अगर गलत काम करते हुए पकड़े गए, क्योंकि मिलिट्री लॉ अलग होता है ना? तो अब इसके अंदर what have we done? We have extended AFSPA in certain areas of Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. So a little bit about this is that, you know, earlier on it was just the governor of the state who used to declare a state as a disturbed area. Now the center as well as the governor of a state can do so. एक बार मैंने बोल दिया कि ये एरिया डिस्टर्ब्ड एरिया है, तो वो 3 महीने से पहले मैं हटा नहीं सकती वो डिस्टर्ब्ड एरिया वाला टैग. एंड देन आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स विल हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ authority over my area. So that is that about AFSPA. Baki, if you can read it on the last 3 lines, that the notification for Manipur and Assam has been issued by the state government ki isko bhi disturbed area kar do, and we have revoked it from Tripura and Meghalaya. So all we have to keep in mind is what is AFSPA. I think it is such a used topic, and it has been asked so many times that you know, you can rest assured, I can rest assured that you know about it, but I'm not saying you leave it. We have to have an ironclad preparation. We can't really think from the point of view of the examiner really. So AFSPA, it was first issued by virtue of ordinances, and then it was replaced by an act. It was first known as the Armed Forces Assam and Manipur Special Powers Act. फिर उसके बाद 1971 के बाद असम में से बहुत सारी स्टेट्स, फिर नागालैंड भी आ गया, मेघालय भी बन गया, तो जिस वजह से देन वी मेड इट आर्म फोर्सेस स्पेशल पावर्स एक्ट. Another static point that we can keep in mind is that Justice BP Jeevan Reddy, ये वाली कमिटी जो है 5-member committee, this committee was made to review the provisions of AFSPA in the northeast states, and they had said repeal the act. Okay, वो रिपील नहीं हुआ, वो अलग बात है. अब a lot of Swachh Bharat is going to happen. Okay, so what has happened is our president, she had presented the Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin Awards. So basically what has happened is ये स्वच्छ भारत अभियान के अंदर एक स्वच्छ भारत अभियान फॉर ग्रामीण क्षेत्र, रूरल एरियाज, एंड फॉर अर्बन एरियाज, ये 2 अलग अलग कंपोनेंट्स हैं. तो जो ग्रामीण एरियाज के लिए है दैट इज अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ जल शक्ति. तो इन्होंने क्या किया, दे हैव सेलिब्रेटेड द स्वच्छ भारत दिवस ऑन 2 October 2022, obviously to commemorate the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, and which is why they gave out a lot of awards to different places that have, you know, kept a lot of cleanliness in their areas. तो पहले हम ग्रामीण वाली की बात कर लेते हैं, फिर हम अर्बन वाली की बात कर लेंगे. ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में क्या है कि the first prize in the large state category has been given to Telangana, followed by Haryana and then Tamil Nadu. And in the small states and UT wali category mein, Andaman and Nicobar Islands have got the first position, followed by Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, and Sikkim. And what are the areas of evaluation? साफ सफाई बेसिकली. सो वेस्ट कलेक्शन कैसे किया है, म्यूनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट को कैसे आपने डिस्पोज किया है, ओपन डेफिकेशन फ्री है कि नहीं, टॉयलेट्स कैसे काम कर रहे हैं, इंफॉर्मेशन, एजुकेशन, पब्लिक अवेयरनेस कितना किया है, बिहेवियरल चेंज आपने कितना किया है, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, हाउ मच हैव यू trained people to keep cleanliness in your area. So those are the categories under which we have done this. Urban areas mein, if we talk about it, so Indore, for the 6th consecutive year has been the cleanest city. Okay, and this is a part of the Azadi at the rate 75 Swachh Sarvekshan 2022, also part of the Swachh Bharat Mission, urban, like I said, Grameen and urban, two alag-alag components. Ab urban wala kiske andar aa gaya? Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, correct. इसमें फिर है more than 1 lakh की population की category में इंदौर आ गया, then less than 1 lakh की population में Panchgani and Garud from Maharashtra have bagged the first and the third positions respectively, and Patan from Chhattisgarh is the second position. Then best Ganga town is Haridwar in Uttarakhand, states with more than 100 urban local bodies. ये Madhya Pradesh has emerged as the cleanest state. Second is Chhattisgarh, third is Maharashtra, and states with less than 100 urban local bodies. Tripura is the cleanest state. So even if you don't have to go, usually they have started asking first, second, third. But focus on the first at least, learn that up, the rest can follow. Okay, so Indore is something that you have to keep in mind. And agar Grameen Kshetra ki baat karen, to Telangana is something that you should keep in mind, and also Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Then is your Yuva 2.0 PM scheme. Pradhanmantri ne jo bhi log 30 years se kam hai age mein, they have said, he has asked them to start writing. If you're interested, are any of you, whoever is online, do you guys write poems and stories? And is there any writer here? So the Prime Minister has basically given impetus to that. I think it's a wonderful thing, So he's basically asking people who are below the age of 30 years that, start writing. This is to promote reading, writing, and book culture in the country. And this is so much required, right? Because somehow entertainment, Netflix, and all of that has consumed so much of time of this present day generation that they have stopped reading books. And books पढ़ने की अलग ही मजा है, right? आजकल वो Kindle विंडल तुम लोग पढ़ने लग जाते हो, but books जैसा कुछ नहीं है. So वो चीज को और ज्यादा impetus देने के लिए we have started off with the Yuva 2.0. So it's the Prime Minister's scheme for mentoring young authors, and this is been made by the Ministry of Education. Theme is democracy, institutions, events, people, constitutional values, past, present, and future in an innovative and creative manner. अब सब कुछ तो learn नहीं कर पाएंगे, past, present, future learn कर लो, और innovative, creative learn कर लो. जैसे भी आपने करना है, but you should have a vague idea about this. So a lot of people will write. When they start writing, they will obviously read a lot. If a generation reads a lot, that means they will have new ideas. If a generation keeps watching Netflix and Prime Video, then they are just looking at someone else's ideas. There is no time only that you're giving for your own brain to come up with new innovative ideas. So that's the point that we are trying to make over here. Okay. Then is 18th meeting of the Persistent Organic Pollutants Review Committee. अब ये persistent organic pollutant क्या है? Persistent for a very long time, organic pollutant मतलब एक ऐसे टाइप का pollutant है जो कि इतनी देर से आपके environment में है that now it has accumulated into the fatty tissue of living organisms. Okay, it is here to stay, and it is very, very toxic to the wildlife as well as to the human beings who are consuming that wildlife, right? And this can circulate globally, it can cause damage wherever it travels. So this particular persistent organic pollutant is to be stopped, चाहे वो fertilizer से आ रहा है, चाहे वो pesticide से आ रहा है. So जिस वजह से in 2004 there was a Stockholm Convention where 152 countries basically promised that we are going to eliminate or we are going to reduce the releases of these POPs. Okay, India also ratified this particular convention in 2006, but we ratified it in a manner that we said, ठीक है, we will listen to whatever we want to listen to. In case we don't want to listen to something, we have an option of opting out. मतलब अगर कल जाके आपने बोला कि this is a persistent organic pollutant and you cannot use it, if in case we believe no, it is not, then you can't order us around and you can't force us to stop the usage of that particular pollutant because we don't believe that it's a pollutant. So hum hai iska part, lekin we can opt out of certain things. That is how we've ratified the convention. Now, why is it in news? Is because the 18th meeting of the Persistent Organic Pollutant Review Committee, it took place in Rome, and they came up with a lot of pollutants that they felt that we should ban. Okay, वो एक सेकंड में करते हैं. बाकी जैसे ही हम लोग कोई कन्वेंशन का पार्ट बनते हैं, इंटरनेशनल अग्रीमेंट का पार्ट बनते हैं, साथ ही साथ हम अपने म्यूनिसिपल लॉज भी चेंज करते हैं. वी चेंज आवर डोमेस्टिक लॉज टू मेक श्योर दैट वी sort of agree or we abide by that particular convention. So what did we do for that? Our Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, it notified a set of rules called Regulation of Persistent Organic Pollutant Rules in 2018. तो 2004 में ये convention बनी, 2006 in 2 years हमने उसको ratify कर लिया, and then we took our own sweet time and we made our rules in 2018, wherein we are talking about a certain persistent organic pollutants, which we are going to prohibit the manufacture, the trade, use, import, export of such chemicals. अब इसमें why is, it's a meeting, so it's in news. Why else is it in news? Because in the meeting in Rome, the particular convention, the contracting parties, they listed 5 chemicals that they thought we are not going to we are not going to allow the usage of these chemicals because these are persistent organic pollutants. नाम लर्न करने की जरूरत नहीं है, नंबर लर्न कर सकते हो, 5 हैं, पर इनमें से एक का नाम लर्न कर लो, क्लोरपाइरिफोस. Why are we learning this name? Because इन्होंने कहा कि this is bad and India says nothing doing, we are going to continue the utilization of this particular chemical. So India has resisted the listing of chlorpyrifos as a persistent organic pollutant. Reason is we don't feel that it is a persistent organic pollutant. That is the only reason that we have come up with. And also we have registered it in our acts, in our Insecticide Act of 1968. We had even made a committee, Anupam Verma committee, back in 1977, which had recommended that you continue the usage of this particular chemical. This chemical is used in pesticides and all. Okay, so this is the only thing that you can keep in mind कि इन्होंने बोला है कि इसको 5 में से एक को जो बोला है वो इंडिया कहती है sorry, we are not going to allow the listing because we will continue utilizing it. Okay, so that is that with respect to the persistent organic pollutants. Next, scale based regulation. जब हम लोग क्लास में भी एज अ टीचर हम जब परफॉर्मेंस देख रहे हैं बच्चों की, कैन आई से दैट अ टीचर रियलाइजेस कि किसके ऊपर ज्यादा फोकस करना है, किसके ऊपर कम फोकस करना है. अ चाइल्ड हु इज नॉट आंसरिंग एनी क्वेश्चन, अ चाइल्ड हु इज सॉर्ट ऑफ not answering, not getting marks or whatever, we should focus on that child a lot more than a child who is able to do things on his own. Yes or no? मतलब मॉम डैड के बीच में भी यही होता है. एक बच्चा, अगर 2 बच्चे हैं तो एक थोड़ा शरारती हो जाता है, एक थोड़ा ठीक ठाक अपने आप देख लेता है. mom and dad also sort of focus on that particular sharati bacha, because they realize that, more focus has to be put over here. In the same manner, what have we done for NBFCs? Now, what are NBFCs? Non-banking finance companies. नाम से पता चल रहा है, these are not banks, but these are companies. क्या दे रही हैं ये कंपनीज? लोन्स दे रही हैं, लेकिन डिपॉजिट्स वगैरह एक्सेप्ट नहीं करती, ठीक है. डिपॉजिट अगर एक्सेप्ट करेगी भी तो टाइम डिपॉजिट, माने फिक्स डिपॉजिट वगैरह कर सकते हैं. कीप इन माइंड बजाज फिनसर्व. So I can't go and open like a demand deposit there. I don't get like an ATM over there. I don't get a net banking facility there. हाँ, FD करवा सकती हूँ मैं, पर लोन जरूर ये लोग दे सकते हैं मुझे, ठीक है. So NBFCs में भी what we've done is we've sort of made like a pyramidal thing. So pyramidal thing में क्या किया है, जो बेस लेयर है, हमने बोला ये बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं, मिनिमम इंटरवेंशन इज रिक्वायर्ड. फिर मिडिल लेयर है, थोड़ा सा स्ट्रिक्ट इंटरवेंशन इज रिक्वायर्ड. अपर लेयर थोड़ा और स्ट्रिक्ट हो जाओ. टॉप लेयर, दैट मीन्स बिल्कुल बैंड बच चुका है ये एनबीएफसी का. we'll have to focus a lot on it, and ideally the top layer should be empty. We do not want any NBFC to have such huge issues. So now what is the context? Why are we studying this? Is because recently the Reserve Bank of India has categorized 16 NBFCs into the 4 layers based on their size, their activity, and their perceived risk. You don't have to learn the names of 16 NBFCs. What you can, however, keep in mind is that there is a scale-based regulation for NBFC. There are 4 layers, wherein the bottom layer is supposed to be NBFCs which are doing decent. Top layer is ideally supposed to be empty, because these are NBFCs which are doing really bad, like very, very bad performance. Baki NBFC की बात अगर हम लोग करें, that child is super smart, he performs only when needed, धोखे में रखता है सबको. हाँ, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. ऐसा तो चाइना भी है, नहीं सूर्यांश, जो खुद को डेवलपिंग कंट्री बोल रहा है. That child is also super smart, performs only when needed, and then does not want all the obligations of a developed country. नहीं तो उसका प्रिंसिपल करेंसी एसडीआर में क्या कर रहा है, आईएमएफ में, है ना. ठीक है, वो तो सुपर स्मार्ट बच्चे हैं. ठीक है. So NBFC is a company which is registered under the Companies Act 1956. Why do we say Companies Act 1956 and why don't we say Companies Act 2013? Because under Companies Act 2013, when we define NBFC, we say the definition remains the same as the one in Companies Act 1956. Okay, so that is why 1956 is written, but otherwise don't be confused. Companies Act 2013 ही हम use करते हैं. बाकी the Department of Non-Banking Supervision of RBI is entrusted with the responsibility of regulating NBFCs in our country. NBFCs बच्चे बहुत तरीके के होते हैं. There are also NBFCs which are not under RBI. Okay, so like an insurance company is also considered to be an NBFC, but we don't have to get into so many details. This is just to do with the ones that are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. अब आ गया, next आ गया भारत Skills Forum. Now, Bharat Skills Forum is okay. So in 2019, back in 2019, our Directorate General of Training, which is under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, इन्होंने एक डिजिटल रिपोजिटरी बना दी थी कि मतलब कल जाके अगर मुझे कुछ नया अपडेशन करना है, मशीन लर्निंग के बारे में सीखना है, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग के बारे में सीखना है ना, कुछ ऐसे टाइप की चीजें अगर मुझे सीखनी है, तो curriculum was updated over there, e-books were provided, question banks were provided, and I could also get like training, you know, I could become an apprentice, an intern, basic training मेरे को मिल रही है outside the classroom online. So this is already made in 2019. Okay, now what has happened now? So this Bharat Skills platform, which was there in 2019, now we have also made a Bharat Skills Forum. अब वो Bharat Skills Forum क्या है? पहले क्या था, बुक्स मिल रही थी, अब नोट्स मिल रहे हैं, हैंड रिटन नोट्स, scanned copies of notes, recorded lecture videos, If there is an intern who has, maybe gone and learned something about artificial intelligence, then he could possibly share his notes over here. I can read from his notes and I can also give that particular exam and do that job. So that is what is the Bharat Skills Forum, wherein it is a knowledge sharing platform between the IITIs, training, information technology industry ka training, trainers, industries, wherein we can get all of these notes and PDFs and videos in your preferred language. So that's also very nice. So that I can, update my skills and I can be employable even in today's time, Industrial Revolution 4.0, जहाँ पे कदम कदम पे नौकरियां खत्म हो रही है. अभी स्टेट विजिलेंस कमीशन की नौकरी खत्म होगी, but that had nothing to do with technology, a lot to do with money, right? Okay, so that is your Bharat Skills Forum. क्या दिमाग में रखना है? Directorate General of Training, Ministry of Skill and Development. That Bharat Skills as a platform was made back in 2019. अब Bharat Skill Forum है जहाँ पे notes वगैरह मिल रहे हैं, online copies दिख रही हैं. Okay, the next is Prachand. Now, Prachand is an indigenously built light combat helicopter. So back in the 1999 Kargil war, and even recently due to the Ladakh conflict with China, India realized that we need some helicopters for mountain warfare. And we need to make it on our own because we can't possibly keep depending on some other country. If we have to be Atmanirbhar in the true sense of the word, then not only do we have to make things, we have to also understand if we make it, then we can maintain it also on our own. So that is very good for us. So Prachand has been inducted in the Indian Air Force, right? And Prachand basically means fierce. It is a light attack helicopter, which is designed by the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. It is the first and the only attack helicopter in the world that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters, which is great because we can utilize this in the Siachen area also. So that is a good thing for us. Secondly, it has 8-ton twin engine gun chopper, air-to-air missiles को भी वो कर सकता है, turret guns हैं, rocket system है, बहुत सारे और weapons हैं, right? And twin Shakti engines हैं, which have been made by Francis Safran Company and the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. The maximum speed is 288 km/h. Combat radius, जिसमें वो perform कर सकता है, is 500 kilometers. It can go up to a service ceiling of 21,000 feet. 5,000 वाला मैंने बता ही दिया कि वहां से it is the only helicopter which can take off and it can land at such an altitude, which is amazing for us. We'll be able to, पानी का हमने वैसे ही देख लिया, अब हम लोग altitude का भी देख रहे हैं. So we are doing very, very well in terms of defense and internal security. Baki, which is the armory that we have. So we have a 20 mm nose gun in the front of Prachand, which is able to fire 800 rounds per minute with a firing range of 2 kilometers. So that's great, right? We also have a rocket pod mounted on the stub wing with direct firing range of up to 4 kilometers and indirect up to 8 kilometers. So day and night both में surveillance हम लोग कर सकते हैं. And it also has an anti-tank guided missile Dhruvastra, right, which is amazing. An air-to-air missile Mistral 2, which has a maximum interception range of 6.5 kilometers. So altitude क्या है, weaponry क्या है, कब बना है, किसने बनाया है, कौन सी armed forces में ये induct हुआ है, मतलब नाम का तो पता ही हमें चल गया है, ये सब कुछ हमने लर्न करना है. Yes, let's go on to the next. For want of time I have to go ahead because एक बच्चे ने already बोल दिया है भाई बहुत लंबा हो जाता है. जब लंबा, देखो मेरी बात सुनो, लंबा हो जाता है तो तुमको क्या करना है, तुम तो into 2 करके ही देखते हो ना, जब स्पीड बढ़ा के देख लेते हो तो वैसे देख लिया करो. Hardly matters, right? At least now you get the time to study, to revise on your own. Fine, so kindly do that. And then we have our quiz also tomorrow, right? So we'll do that later. Then Shastra Ramanujam Prize 2022. Now, this particular Ramanujam is known for mathematics. Shastra Ramanujam Prize 2022 will be awarded to Yung Quing Tang, and he's an assistant professor in the USA, University of California. He's been given this because he is below the age of 32 years. एक और यंग प्राइज फॉर मैथमेटिशियन अवार्ड, रामानुजम अवार्ड मिला था, वो किसको मिला था? Young Mathematician Award, Ramanujam Award. Yes, good. Neena Gupta. Neena Gupta. Not the actress Neena Gupta, the mathematician Neena Gupta. So this is for 32 and below. That was for 45 years and below. Okay. Anyway, so it is for the field of mathematics. All we have to know is the name of the person. So Yung Quing Tang, and the name of the particular prize. So Shanmunga Arts, Science, Technology and Research Academy, जो कि 2005 में बनी थी, and the award was made in 2005 and it has a cash prize of a lot. Baki, December 22nd is also known as the National Mathematics Day, and the theme for 2021, because 2022 hasn't happened yet and tab tak aapka exam bhi ho jayega, the theme is Mathematics for a Better World. Now the next thing is मनरेगा. मनरेगा को अब हम कंबाइन कर रहे हैं विद प्रधानमंत्री कृषि सिंचाई योजना. मनरेगा के अंदर क्या है, that if I am a citizen of this country and I am unemployed and I'm in the rural area, then I can go to my sarpanch and I can tell him, listen, I need a job, and this is a guaranteed job that I get for 100 days, and if I don't get a job, I get money for 100 days. Okay, which is my legal right. Okay, so अब ये वाली चीज में वैसे आप मेरे से अगर काम करा रहे हो, then might as well make me do something which will reverse desertification. So what have we done? We have combined the two, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act and the Pradhanmantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. अब इन लोगों को हम क्या काम देंगे कि वो ड्रेनेज का काम साफ ठीक कर दें, soil and moisture conservation ka kaam, rainwater harvesting, afforestation, horticulture, pasture development. So this is the job that we will give to these people who are getting these 100 days of guaranteed employment. अब desertification के बारे में, because the Environment Ministry has published this, so we should know a little bit. So at least 30% of India's total geographical area is under the category of degraded land. States with more than 50% of land area undergoing desertification, मतलब सूखा जहाँ पे पड़ रहा है या degradation, is Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Delhi, Gujarat and Goa. With less than 10% is Kerala, Assam, Mizoram, Haryana, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Arunachal Pradesh. So we can keep that in mind. बाकी मनरेगा की हमने बात कर ली, अनस्किल्ड लेबरर, 100 दिन का guaranteed employment and right to work हमें मिल रहा है. It is my legal right now because this is an act and must be a citizen of India, Gram Panchayat, all of that is done. Let's go on to the next one. Now this is about the Her Start. Now Her Start क्या है? Startup platform. Her लिखा है तो woman के लिए है. So women entrepreneurs के लिए हम लोगों ने एक प्लेटफॉर्म, एक ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म बना दिया. किसने बनाया? गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी. The president has launched it. This startup platform has been made by Gujarat University and the President of India has launched it. This is going to boost a lot of innovation and women entrepreneurs और ज़्यादा बढ़ के आएंगे, which is very, very good for our economy and also for our empowerment. So social, economic as well as political justice is happening. You will say, why political justice? Because of the fact that when I'm so empowered and I'm making money and I can sustain my own livelihood, then I also have the confidence to go and tell my leader what I think is right and what I think is wrong. Okay, and so the next thing is your emergency credit line guarantee scheme. अब इसके अंदर क्या है? डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज. ये किसके लिए बना है? ये आपके सिविल एविएशन वगैरह के लिए बना है ना. मॉडिफाई किया है हमने एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए. एविएशन सेक्टर ऑलवेज वैसे भी बहुत ही कैपिटल इंटेंसिव प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं, बहुत पैसा चाहिए होता है, एंड फिर जब पैसा चाहिए होता है तो लोन लेना पड़ता है, तो अगर पैसे नहीं बना रहे हैं तो हम पैसा वापस नहीं दे सकते. Who is that man who left India and has become a fugitive economic offender because of this fact that he started a civil aviation airline, ended up taking a lot of loan, ended up making very less money, and so hence without paying the loan he has left. Exactly. So ऐसे टाइप के केसेस दोबारा से ना हो, इस वजह से what have we done? We have modified the emergency credit line guarantee scheme. करा क्या है इसमें? हमने बोला ठीक है यार, आपको पहले 400 करोड़ तक के लोन के लिए ये स्कीम थी, अब 1500 करोड़ तक के लोन की स्कीम है. What is the scheme? The scheme is basically that you can get collateral free. You don't have to give anything girvi. Collateral free liquid loans. The rate of interest will be less, and 100% guarantee will be provided by the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company. गारंटी का मतलब क्या है कि कल जाके if I have a civil aviation if I have basically an aircraft and I take a loan under this particular scheme, then if I don't end up paying, then this National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company will pay on my behalf, and this is what the government has given to me. So मैं भी बच गई, वो banks और NBFCs भी बच गए. मैं बच गई in the sense, ज़्यादा if I don't give back the money, they will sell all of my assets and take back the money, but at least banks को problem नहीं होगी. But if I'm a first time borrower, they have no credit history कि ये payback कर भी सकती है कि नहीं, then they will not put me under the scheme. If I've already done loan पे घपला, I've done non-performing asset of a previous loan, then they will not give me this benefit. Apart from that, so it was earlier extended beyond March 2022 to March 2023. So we keep increasing these schemes because we are seeing the benefit of it. And recent problems kya hai? The input cost is really a lot in the civil aviation, which is why they end up not making that much money. So that is it. That is about your emergency credit line guarantee scheme. Okay. Yes. Kingfisher Airlines and beer. अभी हाल ही में, I can't stop myself, but हाल ही में अब भी मैंने देखा Economic Times में. Have you read about this particular airlines that has said you can carry your dogs along? I mean your pets. It's like a pet-friendly airline. India में. If you've not read about it, then please go and read about it. Okay? Interesting ही रहेगा और तो क्या है? ठीक है. Then is sugar industry. Our sugar industry is doing, Supriya, correct. So our sugar industry is doing very, very well. Okay, so well that we've become world's largest producers and largest consumers of sugar. Okay, and the second largest exporters of sugar. This is after Brazil. And बहुत ही बढ़िया हमने production करके दिखाई है. Also because of the fact that ethanol mixing in fuel, जिस वजह से the demand has increased, which is why we've started producing more. What do we have to keep in mind? That sugar industry is basically in the north as well as the south. North के regions में कहाँ पे होता है तो यूपी, बिहार, पंजाब, हरियाणा, and south में क्या होता है महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटका, तमिलनाडु and आंध्र प्रदेश. उत्तर प्रदेश और महाराष्ट्र के बीच में ये फाइट रहती है कि लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर कौन सा है शुगर इंडस्ट्री में. अभी लार्जेस्ट कस्टमर ऑफ डायबिटीज 2. व्हाई नॉट? Like, yes, chalo, that's a good one, right? So Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, इन दोनों के बीच में यही फाइट रहती है कि largest producer कौन है. So go read about it. उत्तर प्रदेश काफी देर तक था, क्या महाराष्ट्र has stopped that or not? Go figure that out on your own, okay? And the rest of it is that Rangarajan committee had also said कि abolish the quantitative controls that you have on export import of sugar. मतलब freely export import करना शुरू करो ताकि your industry can thrive, and it has thrived really well. अच्छा, एक question मैं पूछती हूँ कि मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस तो होता है, पर शुगर केन के लिए मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस नहीं बोलते. इट्स अ सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्ट एज MSP, बट इट इज कॉल्ड समथिंग एल्स. व्हाट इज इट कॉल्ड? प्लीज राइट इट डाउन. In case you don't know it, then I will tell you. Minimum support prices for normal crops. For sugarcane, what is it called? Good, yaar. What about the rest of us? Right, bache, this is known as fair and remunerative price. Okay, keep that in mind. Fair and remunerative price बोलते हैं उसको. ठीक है. अब CRPF and ITBP के न्यू चीफ डायरेक्टर जनरल्स अपॉइंट हो गए हैं. So Sujoy Lal Thausen, he has been appointed as the new Director General of CRPF, and Anish Dayal Singh has become the new Director General of Indo-Tibetan Border Police. Baki CRPF is, it was originally made in 1939 and it was renamed as CRPF in 1949. It is under the Ministry of Home Affairs, both are, because these are paramilitary forces, right? And Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force was due to the Indo-China War and all. So 1962 mein ye bana tha. And so that is something that we can keep in mind, and also the names. Let's go ahead quickly. We are about to end it in a few slides. So now Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, according to the Union Tourism Ministry, abhi 2022 mein, they have come up with this India tourism statistics. And so they're like, sabse zyada foreigners kaun se wale states mein aaye hain in the last year, which is 2021. So wo do states kaun si hain? Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, okay? Wherein Tamil Nadu mein zyada aaye, मतलब Maharashtra में आए, तमिलनाडु में आए. Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu are foreign. Domestic tourism ज़्यादा कहाँ पे आया? Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. So foreigners have come to Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. Domestic have come to Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. We can just keep that in mind. And Vice President was the one who released this on World Tourism Day. And so hence, because I've not written World Tourism Day, I hope वो आगे I think लिखा भी है, but अगर नहीं लिखा है, that becomes your homework, okay? Now, the next is International Astronautical Federation. Isme Vice President has been elected, and this guy is an Indian. He's an ISRO scientist. The name is Anil Kumar. So International Astronautical Federation is basically a body which was founded in 1951. As the name suggests, it is one of the world's top space advocacy bodies. They make policy decisions. They have a lot of members of a lot of countries and space organizations, and they have this congress मतलब कि मीटिंग करते हैं ये लोग, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे participants आते हैं, and they talk about what kind of space missions should they do. So it is a matter of great pride that our ISRO scientist has become the Vice President of International Astronautical Federation. President यहाँ पे क्ले मौरी है. एंड वहाँ पे मतलब इंटरनेशनल एस्ट्रोनॉटिकल फेडरेशन में ऐसा भी नहीं है कि एक ही वाइस प्रेसिडेंट होता है, काफी वाइस प्रेसिडेंट्स होते हैं, पर उनमें से एक इज अनिल कुमार. सो दैट्स अ गुड थिंग फॉर अस. Headquarter is Paris, and like I said, it was made in 1951. Then is your 68th. Good, Supriyan Suryansh. ठीक है यार, बहुत बढ़िया. So 68th National Wildlife Week, to be observed from 2nd October till the 8th of October. This is the 68th time that we are doing this. नाम से पता चल रहा है, we are going to learn about the cohabitation of human beings and animals, and we should not kill them, and we should sustain their life, and to the point of मतलब जब तक possible है, we need to be compassionate towards them and keep a balance of nature. So that is something that we can keep in mind. Then is Matdata Junction Awareness Program. Election Commission of India ने basically एक program launch किया, year-long program. And they have launched this along with the All India Radio, जहाँ पे we are going to tell voters why it is important to vote. मतदाता को जाके बताएंगे कि why is it important to vote. And who has been declared as the national icon of Election Commission of India? It is actor Pankaj Tripathi. मैं ऐसे उठ गई because I really like this guy. Okay, Pankaj Tripathi is, I think he's the best actor that India has ever seen, as per my subjectivity. You may agree, you may disagree. तो इस इंसान को हम लोगों ने एक national icon बना दिया. He is going to come and they are going to be year long radio पे radio series होंगी जिसमें he will also be there, other people will also be there, and we will basically just tell Indians why it is important to vote. Okay. Yeah, correct. He's amazing, right? Like kuch bhi, like comedy, this and that, in everything he's the best. Like I've not seen anyone like him. Super excited with Pankaj Tripathi. Chalo, this is the last one. जिसके बाद this is the last one. जिसके बाद dates and themes है. फिर quickly 2 passages and then we will say tata bye bye to each other. And how even he even did a movie on election Newton. Yeah, him and Rajkumar Rao. That was also a very nice movie, and that was also about the fact that accessibility to elections is really less. That's true. ठीक है बच्चे. So this is the last one, second last. Sanjeev Kishore has been named as the Director General of Indian Ordnance Factory. Ordnance नहीं बोलना, वो ordnance temporary law होता है, ये ordnance factory है जो weapons वगैरह को बनाने के लिए होती है. ठीक है. So he has become the Director General. That is something which is important. बाकी ordnance factory के बारे में कुछ हम लोग अगर देख लें, ये timeline आप नीचे देख लीजिए कि जैसे कि 1801 में there was the establishment of the gun carriage agency in Kolkata. 1802 में the production started. 1906 में administration of Indian ordnance factories, it started under a separate charge. Then IG पहले बोलते थे, फिर उसके बाद डायरेक्टर कर दिया हमने, डायरेक्टर जनरल कर दिया. 1948 में we've put it, now we are independent, so we've put it under a ministry, so the Ministry of Defense. And 1962 में we made a Department of Defense Production. 1979 में we made an Ordnance Factory Board, but वो Ordnance Factory Board को 2021 में last year में हमने dissolve करके हमने कुछ PSUs को बोला कि आप लोग you take care of this corporatization of ordnance factories ताकि हमारे पास better equipment हम लोग बना सके. So all we have to learn over here is Sanjeev Kishore. Then important dates and themes. Yes, he is from the civil services. So 29th September is World Heart Day. Theme is use heart for every heart. Okay. 30th September is International Translation Day, a world without barriers. 1st October is International Day of Older Persons. Theme is resilience of older persons in a changing world. 2nd October, Gandhi Jayanti. Same day, International Day of Non-Violence. Very simple. 5th October is World Teachers Day. Okay, the transformation of education begins with a teacher. 7th October is World Cotton Day. Theme is weaving a better future for cotton. Now that we are done with this, very simple questions I've kept for today. So quickly you're going to read it. You're going to write the answers. Come on. So the first passage is with respect to Central Vigilance Commission. Quickly tell me the answers. Everybody who's online. बहुत ही simple है, बहुत ही जल्दी हम कर सकते हैं. Then we will enjoy whatever is left of Friday, and then we are going to do our quiz tomorrow. सुप्रिया का आ गया, बाकी सारे बच्चे तुक्का मारना है, तुक्का मारो, जो करना है करो, फटाफट से आंसर लिखो जो दिमाग में आ रहा है. Come on. So Central Vigilance Commission was established on the recommendation of which of the following committees? Dinesh Goswami, Santhanam, Tarkunde, Narsimham. बाकी सारे कहाँ गए? कालीम भैया. Kalyan Bhaiya was Sacred Games, or was it Gangs of Wasseypur? No, he was not in Gangs of Wasseypur. Mirzapur. Good evening, Mirzapur, yeah. So 1A is correct, Santhanam Committee. And when was it set up? This was in 1964. None of these. Suryansh is like, auntie, none of these. ठीक है. Third karo, which of the following is not correct about the Central Vigilance Commission of India? Come on, quickly. Good evening, Tarun. This is my first class. Tarun, that's amazing, but we are just about to get done with this class. I don't know, were you a part of the class since the beginning? Because if not, then we are just at the fag end, but you can see the video later on. And usually we start at 7 o'clock, but welcome. Okay. 3 का आंसर है tenure of Central Vigilance Commissioner is not 5 years, it is 4 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Then is your PVTG, your Encyclopedia of Tribes. Very simple question. Come on. Chief Minister Dash on Monday released the Encyclopedia of Tribes in Odisha. Fill in the blank in the above passage. Taran, it's been happening, like you will find it in the series. It is there for the entire while of your preparation. So entire 1 year, you will be able to get your GK. Right? Okay, great. Naveen Patnaik. And the last one for the day, come on. Which of the following is correct about National Commission for Scheduled Tribes? It's a constitutional body which came into existence in 2004. Its function is to inquire into specific complaints with respect to deprivation of rights. It works to improve the literacy rate of tribal community. Its function is to facilitate women empowerment of tribal women. Correct wala pooch rahe hain. Come on. Patnaik is correct, Pallavi. No idea, तुक्का. ठीक है. बाकी भी मारो तुक्का, फटाफट फटाफट फटाफट. डी आ गया. नहीं बच्चे, डी नहीं है. और सोचो, और मारो तुक्का. सारे बोल रहे हैं ऑल ऑफ द अबव. और कोई? So the answer is A and B. I'll tell you what, I know it makes sense. अच्छा, लिटरेसी के बारे में तो काम कर ही रहे होंगे. नहीं करते. नेशनल कमीशन फॉर शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब का अगर हम लोग मैंडेट देखें तो दे डू रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, दे टेक कंप्लेंट्स. Okay, they will give recommendation for the exclusion or inclusion of a scheduled tribe. These are the jobs. They can make recommendations to the government कि कोई constitutional provision, कोई statutory provision, कोई welfare scheme बनानी है scheduled tribes के लिए. So that is something that they do. But in that mandate, nowhere has it been written that they are only focusing on literacy, or that they are focusing on literacy, or they are focusing on facilitation of women empowerment. वो नहीं है. So इसीलिए B will be the answer. A and B is the answer, and a lot of kids have written that. All right, guys. So thank you very much. Please revise all of whatever we've done today, and that's all from my side. Enjoy whatever is left of Friday, and I hope you're preparing for आपकी इंग्लिश के लिए भी कोई सीरीज है क्या? आपकी इंग्लिश के लिए भी कोई सीरीज है क्या? तरुण, आई डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन. मेरी इंग्लिश के लिए सीरीज है? Which all indices are important to learn the rank of India in those. Thank you very much. Good night. Rakshita, ऐसा है, which all indices are important. Whatever has happened in the past 1 year, 2022 में जो publish हुए हैं. What you can do, however, is where we are doing really well, where we've done well, you can focus a bit more on that. I will not say that don't do the ones where our ranks have decreased, but the ones where our ranks have, been better, उसके ऊपर थोड़ा ज़्यादा focus कर लो. पर वो तो आपको करना है. इंग्लिश की क्लास के लिए आपको तरुण, एक बात तो you will have to go and call up the office, and secondly, you'll have to do that. Right? The office people will be better at dealing with this. Please come back to Alambagh Center. I will, Supriya, for sure, soon. Okay? Chalo. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Take care.